Hey folks, Barnaby Dixon here. In this video, I'm going to be making an eyebrow mechanism for one of my puppets, this one specifically. But I also want to make this video a resource for anyone interested in puppetry or animation about eyebrows specifically and their usefulness as a character and design attribute. When you expand eyebrows to brows in general, you'll realize that very few characters go without them. This is because brows are dynamic, they move, and as they strike different positions, they communicate different emotions and intentions. Other facial features can do this as well. The mouth can communicate a lot of emotions, but I think the brow can veto the mouth in a manner. For example, the brow can turn a pleasant grin into an evil one with just a few angular shifts. The reverse is true too. I can think of some examples where the mouth can veto the brows, but I would have to say when the aim is for a character to be able to project its emotion, I think people choose brows over mouths. I can think of more examples where that's the case at least. Now, if the design aims to conceal emotion and intention, it may opt for neither of these attributes, and Feathers McGraw from Wallace and Gromit's The Wrong Trousers is a very good example of this.
Good grief. It's you.
A child watching a cartoon can understand what these eyebrow positions mean, so I don't really need to go over that this can be angry and this can be happy and all this kind of thing, but I would like to think about what the mechanism would need to be able to do to communicate a range of emotions. The first movement I definitely would like would be the angle, so the control of the eyebrow in this manner, having it be able to pivot like this. The second would be raising and lowering, so regardless of the angle, being able to control height. There are other things that I could try to include, such as independent control and creasing of the eyebrow too, but the more complicated I make this, the more I risk getting it wrong, and that's part of the reason why I very rarely use eyebrows in my designs. The other thing to bear in mind is that I think, based on the setup of the puppet that I'm going to be working on, I think I'm only going to have one thumb to control all of these motions, so we'll keep it simple, or as simple as we can. I'm going to be using a specific 3D printer filament for this project. It's called TPU for AMS. It's by Bamboo Lab, and it differs from other TPU, which is generally a flexible filament. Here's an example. See how floppy this one is. But the one for AMS is a little bit stiffer, and as a result, you get the durability that the flex allows, but you also can produce some more mechanical components that a softer material just wouldn't be capable of. So I really recommend this filament. A couple of them I can confirm, in fact, that the green and the red glow pretty nicely under UV light too, as you can see. The yellow does not, the white does not. I don't know about the blue, but I think that's all the colors. So these two, very suitable for projects like mine. The first attempt at a design was this small component that attaches to my fingers here with these two grooves that I thought I could string cables to the back of the head that would interact with the brow, and when the puppet stretched, the eyebrows would raise, and when he lowered down, the eyebrows would lower. But the issue was these are movements that the puppet might have to do anyway, so I might have some unintended results. So that might produce some problems. So I went back to the drawing board and came up with this design that uses these wire hinges that can move somewhat independently and get those angular changes as well as the height changes, although incorporating metal wire elements would have to be done with some precision. So often when I have to bend complex and sometimes symmetrical wire shapes, there's a lot of trial and error, there's a lot of bending and rebending. So I printed this, which is essentially a 3D template, and I'm in the middle of using it as a guide that shows me how to bend the wires, and that gives me a really good way of keeping the shape consistent and symmetrical. Okay, so I've put one of the brows in place. I'm just fixing the other one now. From what I can tell from the first one, I think it's gonna work. So this result is very, very promising. It's getting all the movements that we want. So let's start with the material that we're going to be using. It's going to be a green material in this instance because I recently purchased one of these bouncy balls that I used to make the body, but I could only find it in green. That is somewhat good though, because it glows very brightly under UV light, a lot brighter than the original purple one. On that subject, the old one was printed out of resin and all of the materials are somewhat stiff, and this has proved a problem when I've put this in my bag. Sometimes the horns have pushed up against things and snapped off. So with the new one, I've decided to print an even softer TPU. So here is the completed print there. You can see the pieces. As I pull them away, you can probably see there's a fair bit of flex to these elements, which should prevent breakages. Now, these are different types of TPU, but I'm hoping they'll fuse. That might do it. So I'm going to fix the rest of the elements the same way. This is the component that attaches to the beak, and it's essentially a hinge. I've engineered this little groove there. So when I push this wire in, you'll notice this wire has a little kink in the end there, just a little right angle. You pull it enough, and it pops really nicely and secures. Now, you'd cut the end off, but that's a really nice way of securing the pin part of a hinge. I've not seen this done before. I'm sure it has been because it's so simple. So if you do know of any instances, leave them in the comments. I'd be interested to see. I got the brows and the beak in place, and then I rooted through my wife's nail polish bag with a UV torch to try and find something that might suit the eyeballs. This sparkly purple is very fetching, and it also glows very nicely under the torch. Oh, I like this. Oh, that's beautiful. The original one has this awesome Mohican, which has some great sympathetic movement, as you can see, but it also goes some way to conceal the thumb as it operates the jaw. And that might be extra useful since that same thumb's going to operate the eyebrows too. So let's see what we can do about that mohawk. I've done a few iterations of this. Mostly each one increases the length, because we really want to encourage that motion, which isn't looking too great at the moment. So the next one I'm going to do is going to be a long boy. So as you can see, the length really encourages this really lovely sympathetic motion, and the shape at the base of the mohawk is designed to clip onto the face using the elastic band that's already there that helps the tension in the jaw mechanism. So that felt very economic. So I want to give you a sense of how it works. So the thumb operates the jaw, but the thumb also operates the brows, and due to the proximity of these two levers, I think with practice I should be able to operate them simultaneously. The final word in my brow seminar is that, yes, I haven't used them very often because of the complexity, but two, you can use other parts of the puppet, notably the body language and the timing, pace, all these sorts of things to denote expression. However, I get the sense, and we'll find this out together in a moment, that when you combine the brows and the body language together, you get something that is expressive beyond the sum of the parts. So let's see if that's true. I'll just clear some manner of space here. And we'll get the UV light on. The sun is going down. This should look kind of good. We'll also use the body from the old one just because I haven't made the new one yet. We'll get the head on and the legs in. Okay, let's see. Look at this resting expression. I can change it, of course, though, too. So something a bit more neutral like that. And if you're surprised, perhaps that works nicely. He starts out sad and then gets angry. That's nice. Yeah, really nice. And perhaps if we get the mouth motion at the same time, we can have him kind of, ah! That was good. Or angry, maybe. Ah! Yeah, lovely. This is really fun. This is super expressive. I like this a lot. And I don't know, I think that's a success. Mwah.